A pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. And welcome to ASI this afternoon with our topic, Pathfindering in the Pandemic. My name is Jonisa Nurst.
And I am Alex Antwine.
And we have a lot in store for you this afternoon, including a panel discussion.
Yes.
But before we go any further, let's all bow our heads for prayer.
Dear God, as we come to you in prayer this time, we ask for your blessings upon us, dear Father. Lord, as we enjoyed this afternoon's proceeding, we ask that we're able to learn a lot, Lord, when it comes to pathfinding and the pandemic, Lord, pathfinding through the pandemic and knowing how to be as we proceed, Lord. As we know we're coming to the end of it, Lord, we want to know how to do it effectively as pathfinders in our society. Be with us, Lord, now and forevermore. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So introducing the panel.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome back to our Global Pathfinder Day celebrations. Now, before we go any further, we want to have just a little interactive session with you, our audience out there. And so for you, we have created a little Kahoot that encapsulates the spirit of pathfindering. So we want you to get on your phones, get on your laptops, and we're going to play a little Kahoot, just a few questions to see how much you remember about pathfindering. So if you're in Pathfinders, you left 5 years ago, you probably fell off in the pandemic, it doesn't matter, it's there for you to play. So join in, you go to www.kahoot.it, and the game pin is 5634782. All right, so you go ahead, we'll give you some time to come on in and we'll begin. All right, so that game pin again is 5637482. 5637482. All right, go ahead, get your phone, get your laptop, and come on in. All right, and we're waiting for it to build. We're waiting for it to build. So as persons come in, go ahead, go to www.kahoot.it and type in your PIN. All right, we have someone, we have Amanda. All right, come on in as we begin. All right, that game PIN again is 5637482. 5637482. All right, we have Jonicia. All right, to give it K, we have Green Hornet, we have KBJ, all right, we have Ola, we have Cherise, all right, nice. So we have a few more persons coming in, we'll give it just a few more minutes. few seconds, and then we'll begin. All right, so remember, get your thinking caps on. Get those thinking caps on. How much do you remember about Pathfindering? All right, we have Ixin, we have JP. All right, we have some more coming in. Nice. All right, so just give it a few more seconds, and then we will begin. All right, we have Toya. Nice. J from K. Nice. All right, we'll just give it a few more. We have Arden coming in. Good. All right, we have Loyanda. Nice. All right, we give a 10-second countdown and we will begin. So we go in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. All right, so go ahead and start up for us. All right, if you didn't get in, so close. All right, let's go. So let's see how much you know. All right, question 1 coming up. All right, the Pathfinder pledge begins with these words. Is it by the mercy of God, by the power of God, by the grace of God, or I solemnly pledge? Which of these is it? All right, and we see the answers coming in hot and heavy. All right, and the time is up. All right, and the answer is by the grace of God. And we know it goes by the grace of God. I will be pure, kind, and true. I will keep the Pathfinder law. I'll be a servant of God and a friend to man. All right, let's go to the next question. All right, this one is a true and false. The general age of the friends class is 10. Is that true? Yes. Or is it false? No. Who knows? But we see the answers coming in. All right. The answer there is 9 seconds and counting down. Let's see. All right. 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is true. All right. The general age for the friends class is 10. And we have 2 persons that didn't get it. All right. Let's continue. Let's see the leaderboards as we go along. All right. We have J from K leading right now. But let's see if that person can hold on to the top spot. All right. To the next question. Let's see. This book is read by many Pathfinders and expounds on the Pathfinder law and pledge. Is it the path of truth? Is it the happy path? Is it the path of hope? Or is it messages for young people? All right, let's see. We have answers coming in and the time is counting down. We're going and the answer is the happy path. All right, let's move it along. Let's see who's on top. All right, J from K hitting that top spot still. All right, let's move on to the next question. The third Pathfinder law states to, is it to care for your body, to be courteous and obedient, to go on God's errands, or to do your honest part? Think about that law in your head, recite it quickly, and put your answer down. All right, time 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, it's to care for your body. All right, nice. We have J gone down and somebody has risen to the top. All right, we have another true and false coming up. The Pathfinder song ends with the following lyrics. Jesus the Savior is coming back with a crown for you and me. Is that true or is that false? All right, be careful, read it carefully. All right, King Jesus the Savior is coming back with a crown and everybody says false. There is no crown in that lyric. All right, so we have somebody keeping the top mark still. Nice. Let's continue. Let's see. All right, we are on question 6. The fourth Pathfinder class, is it Voyager, is it Ranger, is it Companion, or is it Guide? All right, think back if you have to. Let's see, the answers are coming in fast. All right, let's see. 2, 1, all right, nice. And the answer is Ranger. All right, we have 11 persons getting that right and somebody holds on to their top spot. All right, let's move on to question 7. The Pathfinder song was written by the following person. Is it Marjorie Padmore? Is it Henry Burge? Is it Patrick Castagny? Or is it Ellen White? Think about it. Can you remember who it is? All right, we have the answers coming in rapidly. And the time counts down, and the answer is Henry Burge. Nice. All right. And somebody continues on the top spot. Good. So let's move on to question 8. The Pathfinder triangle is inverted because of this. Is it because of a design perspective? Does it encompass the 3 dimensions, spiritual, physical, social? Is it that it's because we have to put the needs of others before ourselves? Or is it representing home, school, and church? Which of these? All right, most persons thought of it because of the 3, but in the inversion, it's because we are to put others first and to do what is against the will. So that is the reason why the triangle is inverted. All right, the blue and the sword represents purity. Is that true or is that false? All right, the blue represents purity. All right, we have 6 seconds counting down. Get those answers in. 2, 1. All right, the answer is false. So we have a good split there. The blue represents loyalty. All right, white in the shield represents purity. All right, and somebody keeps the top spot. All right, Psalms 46, a common text that Pathfinder learn, begin with these words. Is it, God is my light and my salvation. God is my refuge and strength. God is my shield and my sword. Or God is my shelter and my comfort. Which of these does Psalm 46 begin with? And we see the majority that's got it right. God is my refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right, question 11. This was the previous name of the Master Guide program. Some of you will go way back when to think about this one. Is it Master Comrade, Master Orienter, Master Ranger, or Master Mountaineer? All right? You can't go to Google, not enough time, so think about it. All right, and 16 persons got this one correct. It is Master Comrade. That was the official name before Master Guide was adopted, and somebody stays on top. We have Arden, Grimshaw, and Toya. All right, you have to put these in order. You just drag them in. Put these in order. Is it Guide first, Voyager, Friend, Companion? Which is it? Put these classes in order. You should just drag them up into the different spots and you get through. All right, is it Friend? Is it Voyager? Which is first? Which is second? Which is third? Which is fourth? All right, so let's see which are in the correct positions. All right, the answers are coming in. All right, we have the answers: Friend, Companion, Voyager, and then Guide. All right, let's move on to the next question. Let's see. Right, somebody stays on the top and Amanda comes up. Then we have Green Hornet. All right, let's move ahead. All right, on to question 13. This was the predecessor of the Pathfinder Club. Was it the Boy Scouts? Was it Cadets? Was it Missionary Volunteer or YISC, Youth in Service for Christ? Which of these was the predecessor to the Pathfinder Club? Think about your answers and the time counts down. 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. And the answer is MV, Missionary Volunteer. And the majority of you got that right. So you know what you know. All right. And we have somebody sticking on top, followed by Amanda. Pathfindering was started in this year. And if you have been paying attention for the whole day, you should get this one right. It's on the logo. We've seen it. We know it. All right, so the answers are coming in hot and heavy. All right, let's see. And the time is up. It was 1950. All right, making this 71 years. And somebody's holding on to their spot tight. All right, let's see question 15. Which of these is not an advanced Pathfinder class? Is it Frontier Guide, Wilderness Ranger, Frontier Voyager, or Wilderness Companion? Which of these is not a advanced Pathfinder class? All right, so think. All right, and the answers are coming in, and it's Wilderness Companion. It's actually Trail Companion that's the advanced. All right, we move ahead. Is somebody hot on the trail? All right, that somebody knows their stuff, man. On to the next question. All right, question 16. This is a little church history. This person was given similar visions to Ellen White prior to hers. Was it John Harvey Kellogg? Was it William Miller? Was it William Foy? Or was it James White? All right, and our answers are coming in. All right, it was William Foy, and there's another guy, but we'll probably talk about him at another time. And somebody is holding on to their top spot. I wish I knew who that somebody was. All right, and we continue with the next question. Question 17. The Great Disappointment took place on this day. Was it October 18, 1844? Was it October 22nd, 1844? Was it October 22nd, 1944? Or was it October 22nd, 2012? Put your answers in, and we see the answers coming in, and the answer is October 22nd, 1844. Let's move ahead. Is somebody still on top? And they're holding that position. All right, this person was known for his translation of the Bible into English. Is it John Gutenberg? Is it John Huss? Is it Martin Luther or John Wycliffe? Which of these guys were responsible or is known for his translation of the Bible into English? And our time is counting down, and the answer is John Wycliffe. All right, we move ahead. Let's see, is somebody holding on? Yes, they are. Amanda right behind. All right, approximately how many honors are there? Is it over 1,000, over 6,000, over 600, over 400, or over 700? Think about it. Perhaps you may not know, but give it a guess. All right? Nice, and the answer is over 400. All right, let's see. Somebody continues to hold it up. All right, I wish I knew who that somebody was. All right, I wish I could change your name and tell us. All right, probably put it in the chat who that someone is. All right, next question. Question 20. This honor is the, which is it? Is it the hiking honor? Is it the orienteering honor? Is it the marching and drilling honor? Or is it the track and trail honor? Think about it. You have probably gotten this one, and you should know this one. This one is easy. All right. And our time is up, and it's the marching and drilling honor. Nice. Somebody holds on to the top spot, followed by Amanda, then J from K coming up behind. Good. Let's see, we're on question 1, 4 more to go. The picture below shows the steps to tie which knot? Is it the bowline? Is it the reef knot? Is it the hangman? Or is it the figure of 8? Which of these knots does this diagram show? All right, and we're coming in hot and heavy, and the answer is the bowline. All right, that's the knot used for saving people. And we have somebody, Amanda J from K, holding on to our top spots. All right, let's move on to the next set of questions. All right, question 22. True or false, the sheep shank is used for shortening rope. Is it true? Is it false? You decide. The sheep shank is used for shortening rope. All right, and our answers, our time counts down, and that is true. All right, coming quickly to an end. 2 more to go. All right, this letter in semaphore is, you have to think hard for this one. Is it B? Is it R? Is it J? Or is it K? All right, this one requires some thought, and we'll see if you can get it right. Which letter in semaphore is this? Do you remember? All right, the majority got it right, but it's kind of even. This letter is R. All right, and the same persons hold on to their top spots. All right, question 24. Is this known as a TP fire? Is it true or is it false? You decide. Is this a TP fire? All right, and our time counts down. We have 1 second, and that's false. All right, that's a log cabin fire. All right, so we have somebody still holding on to the top spot, J from K coming up to second, and Amanda. And our last question, this honor is it the Jewish history honor? Is it the sanctuary honor? Is it the Old Testament studies honor? Or the Holy Spirit studies honor? And we should know this by heart. So let's put those answers in. And our time counts down, so make sure you have your answer in. And it is the sanctuary honor. All right, so let's see who our top spots are. We know, I wish I knew the name. We have in third place Amanda. In second place, J from K. And in first place, somebody who we don't know. Could somebody tell me who somebody is? All right, so thank you for participating this evening. And I hope that you have learned something and continue to keep the spirit of Pathfindering alive. Thank you.
The Spirit of God is calling, calling to man. Stirring within our hearts a call to faithfulness again. First to our courage, and then in our hope. Faithful in all we are, and in all that we own, I answer the call. I take my stand. I choose to live my days on earth, a faithful man. And to that end, I give my all. And in the strength and grace of God, I answer the call. I understand that no man can stand on his own, but thanks be to the Spirit, will never stand alone. And now by His will, I choose to be all that the Father said that His children should be. I answer the call. I take my stand. I choose to live my days on earth, a faithful man. And to that end, I'll give my all, and in the strength and grace of God, I answer the call. A call to dedicate our life to your children love our wives. According to the heart and eyes, the best for the goal to win the prize. I answer the call. I'll take my stand. I choose to live my days on earth a faithful man. And to that end, I'll give my all, and in the strength and grace of God, to see I'll answer the call. I'll take my stand. I choose to live my days on earth a faithful man. And to the end, I'll give my all, and in the strength and grace of God, I answer the call. And in the strength and grace of God, I answer the call. And in the strength and grace of God, I answer the call. I answer the call.
Good afternoon again. Welcome this afternoon to our panel discussion, all right? So again, my name is Alex Antwine, and I'm going to start from my far left. Over there, we have Ainsley Waldron. Good afternoon, Ainsley.
Good afternoon, everybody.
All right, then we're going to move over to Miss Michelle Beckles. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Alex. And you?
I'm quite fine. And remote, we have Onessa Mitchell. Good afternoon, Onessa. All right, wonderful. And these will be the members of our panel discussion today.
Been called to follow Christ. We are to teach, we are to teach, we are to fight. So where you lead me, I will go. Touch my lips by your strength, I will go. I will go where you lead me, I will go where you lead me. Who will go for us? I will go. I will go where you lead me, I will go where you lead me. Here am I, send me, Lord, I will go. Because mine eyes have seen the King. I must tell all the world, worship Him in all the nations, in all the world. Where He sends me, yes, I will go. I will go where you lead me, I will go where you lead me. Who will go for us? I will go. I will go where you lead me, I will go where you lead me. Here am I, send me, Lord, I will go. I will go, I will go, I will go.
So people think that pathfindering is just about camping. What is it all about?
Pathfindering is about camping, but it is not all about camping. There are multiple aspects of pathfindering, ranging from the spiritual, from the physical, from the social, from the mental, all areas of development we have pathfindering catering for. Brother Ainsley?
Yes, so for me, pathfindering, one of the main things about pathfindering is helping them to develop a love for God. So that's the first thing for me with pathfindering. And in addition to developing love for God, we tend to develop leaders as well. And as Sister Michelle mentioned, all other things that go with pathfindering, hiking, social events, and as we learned in the Cahoots, about service. That's an important aspect of pathfinding as well, service.
Interesting, interesting. And my question for our remote guests, you go ahead and share as well. What is pathfinding all about for you?
It's a holistic experience. It, as mentioned before, it's spiritual, it's social, it's mental. I would even say emotional, because you exposed to so much other persons, and it really is a development program. It's spiritual because it helps you connect with God, connect with the church. It also helps you understand life. Pathfinding is a holistic experience.
Interesting, interesting. I must say that I'm quite, I don't feel as comfortable around persons of your stature. You recognize I only have about 7 honors here, and I see that you all are well equipped. Some of you requesting another sash, right? And it makes me wonder, why are there so many honors in pathfinding? Why are there so many honors to attain?
Right, for me,
I would say that there are so much honors because we are all different persons. We are diverse in who our personalities are, who God has created us to be. And Pathfinding allows us to achieve who we are as individuals. Some of the honors that you can earn as well from your academic pursuits. So I got a few when I did HSB in school. So a lot of the health and bio aspects I was able to achieve. So it blends with what you learn in school, because if you did this before and then you go in school, you have the foundation already. So it really allows you as individuals to do honors that you would like.
Interesting, interesting. And Michelle, I have a question there for you. So in your field of work, seeing that you are one of the most decorated here, everywhere on your sash is filled, has Pathfinding and the honors been able to assist you or aid you in your daily living?
Yes, because I work in the forestry. I'm a forester. I go into the wild, in the jungles. And before I got into forestry, I learned about birds, I learned about animals, I learned about the environment, I learned about trees. So getting into the forestry aspect of it was just a natural succession. We did a lot of hiking, a lot of camping. And so being a forester was just progression from what I would have done in pathfinding. So a lot of the honors I would have acquired was simply put towards, developed further. When I went to school to study, I already had a foundation, so the things I learned were not new in terms of the first time I'm hearing about it.
Right.
I would have had a foundation before from pathfinding.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how can pathfinding be repackaged? How can it be rekindled and repackaged there for the new generation that we live in, the modern, the new normal? How do you think, Ainsley, how do you think pathfinding can be repackaged to spice things up?
right, so pathfinding to be repackaged. Well, we see in our society now, where everything is online, that we can't do pathfinding as we would normally do, where we'll be out in the field and so on. So for my church, which is Signal Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church, what we did, we first started online Pathfinder Club, where we allowed the children to do honors. So from, let's say, from September to December, they would have done a lot of honors online. And then when we switched to the new year, we joined with the Sun River Seventh-day Adventist Club, where we called ourselves Sandy Hill. And at Sandy Hill, we were doing the honors as well as the classwork. So we covered all 4 classes, from Pathfinder up to Ranger class, Friend up to Ranger class. And we also did all the classes in the Adventurer group as well. We used Google Classroom, we used Zoom for meetings every Sabbath. We used, not Cahoots, the other one to Cahoots? Right, Nearpod. We did Nearpod to teach some of the lessons. We even had a virtual camp as well, where people would have camped in their backyards. Some didn't have camp.
Yes.
So what they did, in their house, they covered their table and they camped under the table. Some even erected a camp inside their tent, inside the house. So we could still have an aspect of pathfinding although we couldn't do it the normal way.
That is quite interesting. So for me, it is Sandy Hill. Sandy Hill is where the vibe is at, right, guys? So speak to them afterwards. You can message in the comment, get your details, and be sure to check out Sandy Hill and include it in your district, include it in your church, your community, and let us get accustomed to the new normal from a pathfindering point of view. All right? So in the chaos of the pandemic, youth and juniors face the risk of being ignored as adults just fight to come to terms with the ever-changing circumstances. All things being equal, what measures must youth ministers put in place to ensure that youth are ministered and guided at this time? This one I will send to Michelle.
Okay, as ASI was talking, I think about my own self. I am not very computer literate. I could use the computer, but when it comes to online Google Classroom, down to Zoom, my nephew shows me how to use Zoom. I'm now kind of like getting comfortable with it. So now more than before, because it would have been relevant for before, but now more than before, we need to ensure that the personnel that you put in place to be the Pathfinder leader has the ability and the time to effectively perform his duties. And what happens is that we believe we have to stay within our own church, our own congregation. But because we are now virtual, you can source personnel from anywhere.
Right.
As Sandy River, they joined with Signal Hill. We can source personnel from overseas. We can persons who may not have had the time before to come and teach Pathfindering now, because they don't have to leave from where they are. They could now come and be a part of your club, so they could help the leader. Now, a lot of times, we put a leader who doesn't have the time. You might say, well, this person is good with the young people, so they put that person as the leader, but the person does not have the time to be the leader. And in my case, I would consider myself an okay Pathfinder leader, but I cannot utilize the technology. So I would be willing to teach, but somebody else needs to be with me to help me utilize the technology. So you can't just say, well, Sister Michelle is a good leader, so let her continue being the leader, and I have no clue as to what to do with the technology. You will realize club will crash, because as much as I have the knowledge with the work, I don't have knowledge of technology.
Right.
Also, as I mentioned before, we need to pair up with other societies. We are a very clannish set of people. So because I belong to Marys Hill, I would not go to Blackrock, I would not go to Scarborough. I am Marys Hill and I stick with Marys Hill. And I don't have the resource personnel, but I would not go outside to source people. And we need to get out of that attitude. We need to pair up the churches, the societies, all right? Pairing up the societies also would allow the young people to meet other young persons. Right? Okay, so your club has 5 persons. Another club has 5. And put them together, you have 10. Also, you may have a club with 1 teenager. If you join with our next club, you realize that that teenager now has company.
Right, instead of being alone.
Right, so we can't say this is how we were going before, and the young person now, 1 teenager, they mightn't come, it's me alone, they are lonely, but when we pair up, now they are interested in coming because there is company to deal with, right? Also, I think we need to make adjustments. I think the time has come where we cannot say you were elected to serve for the entire year, so you stay there. The 3 months has gone, nothing happened. 6 months has gone, nothing happened. 9 months, and you keep the person there. It's time we say, look, we need to take care of our young persons. This person was elected as leader. They are not able to perform their responsibility because something else came up. They probably got married, they have to go do their masters, they got a job that they cannot no longer take care of the young person. We need to move them or bring assistance for them so the work could continue. So there are a lot of things we could do, but at the end of the day, we have to ensure that the needs of the youths are met in our churches.
Makes sense.
For us as Signal Hill, well, we know that young people will have varied talents, they'll have varied interests. So what we did as well is that about a month after the pandemic, we started online Sabbath school for them on afternoon. So all the ages are covered from 0 up to the cornerstone class. And we try to make it as interesting as possible. So they had talent night, they had movie night, they had social.
Nice.
And actually right now what the junior class is doing, they have something called Cook with the Juniors. So the teachers came up with every other Friday, every other Saturday night, where the juniors from the class will teach the other students their favorite recipe. So they did pizza last time they did hot cross buns. So it was fun in that we still, although they can't be together physically, we still try to make it interesting where they could form some social interaction together. So for us as ministers or us as leaders, it's to find something interesting that could keep them interested in coming back, but at the same time we're teaching them principles about God.
Very, very, very important points there. And Onessa, I have a question there for you, all right? So is Pathfindering addressing or catering to the needs of the children and the youth as they attempt to adjust to the new normal in your area?
Okay, well, if I have to speak for me, I have to be honest that there isn't a Pathfinder club at my church. I fellowship at a group. There is a club at the mother church, but at the group that I fellowship in, we are going to launch next year. And today was one of the big highlights for our group, in which I wear my uniform and I share that, you know, we're going to launch the club next year. But in terms of reaching the youths and the changes that we definitely would have to address, how we are going to go, how we're going to launch it can't be the new normal. We're not going to be able to congregate. Well, hopefully we would be able to, but if not, we have to put things in place. What I think is important when you're the Pathfinder leader or any leader within the church, it requires planning, and not just planning on the point in which you're going to start. It requires a long-term plan, and that's what I plan to do and look at.
So while you're there, I'm going to keep you in the hot seat. To you. Yeah, I want to keep you in the hot seat, all right? I love where you're going with this and everything, and I've seen you decked off again. I must say, I love how heavily honored you are. You look like you have taken Pathfindering serious, and my question to you is, what does a modern Pathfinder program look like to you?
Well, as Angie said, it requires us going virtually, having things on Zoom, using Google Classroom. What I like about having virtual merged with having a hybrid experience, it allows us to get videos from YouTube, so we can just share. We can share, and they can also merge with other churches. They can even merge with a Pathfinder club, let's say in Africa or in Europe or in the United States, get their experiences. It allows us to do much more than what we were doing normally, because Pathfindering is a global ministry. It's not just within Trinidad or Tobago. It's not just within our church. And I think that is what helps youths and young persons see that I'm not just part of something that is within my church. I'm not just wearing this uniform and it's only me. When it is, let me just share, I went to Oshkosh. And when you go there and you see all those youths, you say, I want to always be in Pathfinders. I want to go back the next 5 years. I don't want to miss out on this experience. And I just want to put a plug in there. Oshkosh is on, and I encourage all Pathfinders, parents, this is an opportunity for your child to witness something that is grand. And I was sharing with my church today that, you know, having 50,000 persons there, that's all the Adventists in Trinidad, all active, inactive, present at one location. That changed your perspective on life. It changed your perspective on the church. It changed your perspective that all these persons are not just here for being here's sake. It costs a lot, and they're here to serve God. They're here to have this experience, and you are part of it. So that's what I would say the ministry allows, and even in the virtual hybrid experience, it allows that, so you could connect as well.
All right, so I have one more question here before we go to a special feature, and I want this one to be answered by each of you. I'm going to put each of you on the spot. So we start with Michelle, we're going to go over to Ainsley, and last we're going to have Onessa again, all right? If you had to introduce an honor, we already have over 400 honors. If you had to introduce an honor, what will it be?
I don't have an answer to that question. No, I think I have at least 50 honors on my stash, right? And there are over 400 honors. And there are a lot of honors, a lot of empty sashes. I mean, use what we have. I thought about it, I didn't come up with any.
You didn't come up with any?
No.
ASI look like he has one right there waiting for us. So go ahead and share.
Yes.
It may be one already existing, but what is one that you have never seen locally that you want to either create or bring into circulation here?
Right. So I would love to see something from the Caribbean or from Tobago. That's an honor developed by the Caribbean Union or Tobago Mission. So in actual fact, as the Adventurer Club, before Adventurer Club, we submitted an honor for Adventurer called the Turtle Honor, because we saw nowhere else with Turtle Honor. We have leatherback turtles in Tobago nesting every year. So we decided we will come up. So we came up with an honor. It's actually been submitted, waiting for approval. I hope that doesn't take too long. So we actually have an honor from Tobago in the Adventurer Club.
Nice.
And I wanted to think that we can do a similar thing, a Turtle Honor for the Pathfinder Club.
Great.
Oh, that sounds very nice. I look forward to completing that adventurer and Pathfinder honor. I'm not afraid of turtles, so I hope that I will be able to complete it. For me, I would like to see more honors from the Caribbean as well. So if I have to create an honor or suggest, I would probably do it along history. I like history. So Caribbean history, Adventist related, I would like to see an honor in that light, yes. But there is an honor that South Caribbean Conference produced, the Steel Pan honor. So I hope that persons can join in completing that. The more persons complete it, the more recognition it will get as well.
All right, wonderful. So I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get my book ready, and I have some space to fill. So I'm going to be taking one from each of you, and then I'm waiting for that turtle honor and that special one that you indicated there. All right. Now we're going to break over to a special feature, one of our special musics for this afternoon.
I try to reach out for you, but I fall. Sometimes you seem so close and yet so far. Oh, I need another chance. I need to know your mercy. Just give me the strength to change within. I know that I'm not all that I can be. My weakness seems to get the best of me. But as long as you are here, I know that I will make it. Every step along the way, please hear my prayer. A heart like yours is my desire. A heart like yours is what I'm searching for. Full of compassion, nothing wrong within. Please hear me, Lord, give me a heart like yours. So much faith, so much kindness, so much grace, forever true. Strong as the wind, soft as the shadows. If just once I could be like you. A heart like yours is my desire. A heart like yours is my desire. A heart like yours is what I'm searching for. Full of compassion, like yours, a heart like yours.
Every year, Glamorgan SD Church, especially the Pathfinder Club, we are actively involved in Global Youth Day. And this year, during the pandemic, you know, there are more needy families than before. So this year, we chose to give hampers to families, right? And so they were truly grateful and happy for the hampers that we have given to them. So let us continue to do good to everyone, and we are fulfilling the mission of Jesus when we give to others.
Wonderful. All right, so Officer Onessa, she did give us before her experience from Oshkosh, and I think it's only right, I think I got the name right there, but it's only right that we ask for memorable experiences from our other two panelists. So Michelle, tell me about, Officer Michelle, tell me about your memorable experience.
Well, there are many memorable experiences, but this afternoon I'll share two light ones with you. I remember we going to Mexico and we decided to go to, I think it's Seven Flags is the name. It's the amusement park. And to get there, we had to take the train.
Right.
Right. Now, the first time, like 95% of us traveling on a train. So we get to the train station, we go through the toll, we go through the gates, and we're on the platform waiting for the train to arrive. Now, there are two doors that will open when the train arrives. So some of us on one side, some of us on the other side. There's a whole group of us going, right? And the train stops, and as the train stops, person starts coming out of the train. So we like waiting for our turn to get onto the train. But if you know anything about trains, which we didn't know anything about, as the persons were coming out, we were supposed to be squeezing in because about 4 of us were still outside of the train and the doors started closing. So we were on the platform and the doors started closing. Now, about 4 persons jammed the train doors and Brother Dan diving below. Our next one jumped through a corner. Natalie Nutt was there, myself and other officers. Pastor Otley was the person there, and one of our guys, they jammed that door. We just dive in however we able, and that was funny. That was like, get away by the skin of your teeth. And another light-hearted one is always part of the Master Guide Club. When we go to Independence Parade, we went on a lime after. So everybody who went on the parade, we will go on a big lime after. And we call the lime hot sauce. I can't remember where that name came from. Originated, but we hot sauce. So we had persons like Bertrand Moses, persons like Maurice Alexander, Vernie Frederick, and a host of us. We would go on lime. So one particular event, we went to the Argyle Waterfall. So when everyone was bathing below, that's when Argyle Waterfall was Argyle Waterfall. Everyone was below bathing. So a group of us, about 4 fellas and myself, we decided let's go to the top of the waterfall, see what is on top there and see how far the river goes. So we decided we're going up the waterfall. We went quite a way up. We saw 2 beautiful, well, not beautiful, they were dirty, some large ponds further up. So we climbed and we went up and we went and we decided to turn back because the river started getting broken down. While we were coming back down, we saw some fellas swimming across the pond below us. So we said there have to be a shortcut to get across the pond instead of walking all the way down through the bushes. So we got to the corner of the mountain that we were on, and it was almost vertically straight down. And we decided that there was a small edge that we could have inched ourselves down to get to the water below. So while going down, remember it's almost vertically down, we are wet, and person started slipping. Person started slipping. So I wouldn't call the name of one of the fellas. He decided to dive into the pool. And when he dived, he was going straight down. But remember I said the pool was brown. You couldn't see the bottom. You don't know if bamboo inside the pool or not. So midway through the dive, he changed his mind and straightened up. So he hit the water like, pop. Now it was all fun. He got a very big swell and a red spot on his stomach because of it. The rest of us had to get started slipping and get in the water. How we able, thank God. Apart from his stomach swollen and red, everything was okay. No one was injured. We went on other hot sauce activities after that, but it was really nice that we had a crew that we were always moving together. There were about 30, 40 of us, and we were always moving together. Persons have gone their separate ways now, but those days, those were the really good days.
Wonderful.
Officer Michelle, I think those master guys, if they were, they did go over the Frank class and go over what is water safety, right? And how to hike, right? But my memorable event also took place by the water. At the end of the year, we want to take the Pathfinders on something fun to do, so we went to the beach. And so I was swimming my merry way, and I kind of went out a little on the deeper end, but I was fine. So this Pathfinder comes up, grabs my hand, and pulls me back. So when we got to the shallow, I said, "Why did you pull me back from that end?" "Sir, you were in too deep. I was saving you." I said, "But you know you can't swim." Yeah. But, sir, if you die, then we have no more Pathfinders. Right? So I had to save you. So that was my memorable event, and it just reminds us that we as officers are examples to our young ones who are with us.
Right.
And we should try our best to be role models so that they could be good young men and women for Jesus.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I have a nice question moving on from right where we are, and the question goes really like, what do you think competes most with uniform ministry? And I'll go over to Officer Michelle. What do you think competes most with uniform ministry?
This is a serious, very serious challenge that we are facing. I would say life, self-sustenance, self-development. We are now at an era where we don't seem to need each other as we used to. So whatever we do, it's all about my development. And if it does not fit into my development, then it stays undone. So we have challenges sourcing personnel to spend time with the young persons, because at the end of the day, they don't get a salary for doing it. And it does not, quote and unquote, add to their personal development, right? Because they have school to go to, they have gym to go to, they have the family to see about, they have football to watch, they have everything else to do. So they don't have time to spare to give to some young persons. So I think time and life, life is our biggest challenge. Or self-sustenance, we no longer need each other, and we no longer see that we have the responsibility for each other.
All right, Officer Michelle touched on, I guess, how leadership or lack of people to role model or teach the Pathfinder Club. I think one of the things I would touch on is the Pathfinders themselves. My wife would always tell me, as she was in club, because I'm a recent add-in, is that back in her day, there wasn't social media, YouTube, everybody didn't have a cell phone, so therefore club was the social engagement, club was the fun time, club was when everybody will meet up and join up together. And so now, when you don't necessarily need club for that, there's so many other avenues. I think that's a challenge for us as club leaders. And in addition, we want our children to be educated. We want our children to do well in school. And if in completing club work, sometimes we as parents think it's taking away too much from the academic time, we will say, hold up on club work there for now, make sure your schoolwork is completed, right? And so if we could, so sometimes challenging getting them to come back to club or even to complete the club work, because there's so many other things out there that could take away the distraction or distract them.
All right. And Officer Onessa, I have a question here for you. How do you deal with conflict in the club? In your club, how do you deal with conflict?
Okay, if I could have add, based on the question that was just mentioned before I answer your question, sorry, Alex. I've seen AY complete with club, and I think it's lack of understanding by the leaders of the church in not understanding youth ministries on a whole, because Pathfindering and Adventure Club is part of the youth ministries, is HAY. So I've seen where that has competed with club, and most times club leaders would lose the battle, where the church may decide that they want all children to be in AY. So I've seen where club and youth ministries AY battle. If I could get the question again that you just mentioned, sorry.
So there's the conflicting situations, but how do you deal with conflict in the club, like two persons having an issue squaring off?
Well, I've seen where children compete, have conflict with amongst themselves. Of course, you have to talk to the children, let them know that that is not tolerated in club. It is a discipline tool. Uniform ministries bring forth discipline in children. So, of course, as club leaders, you have to discipline children, even if it is you have to inform their parents that, you know, this child is posing a problem or causing disruption in club and so forth. So involving the parents is one thing. I think in all instances, when you're going to discipline a child or when you notice a bad behavior, you do speak with the children, because you don't want children to go and give the wrong story. And then, you know, parents, we all volunteers here, and parents could come across as if you are in school where they come in to discipline the teacher. So no, you have to involve the parents, you speak with the children, and try to settle that, even if both parents have to become involved. Yes, I think that is the way I've dealt with conflict, and I think that is what I would say.
Okay. All right, good. So what is the role of the family in faith development of the youth? I'm going to ask this one to Officer Ainsley.
Right, for faith development, what's the role of the family?
Yeah.
But the club is supposed to be assistance to the family, right? Both family and club are partnering together, just as you would have home and school association where the home and the school work together for the children. But in Pathfindering, we only have them for an hour and a half or so a week or every other week. So the family is important in developing the foundation for them. If it's not happening at home, sometimes when it comes to club, there's homework that's not completed. You ask them to go memorize a text, and you come back, the text isn't memorized at all. You have to do it in club. Whereas if it has a foundation at home that can help with those aspects, then it will be better for the children. Children will look at us as club leaders as role models, but the first role model, the first example is the family, and it will be good if the family has a strong faith that could pass on to the children. But we know at times that's not there, so that's where we as club members or we as club officers can become surrogates to assist where we can in that.
Good. All right, so I have one question here for Officer Michel, and then I'm going to drop a question on each of you for your response, all right? So, Officer Michel, what advice can you give to parents in these times?
Keeping it directly for club or general, what are we?
However you feel to swing it.
Youths need people. We are now in a society where the tablet and the computer takes over the mind of the child. But I have seen that when they are not on the tablet or the computer and they are with their friends, they really come out of themselves. They need exercise. They need to vent. And with the pandemic, everything is stay indoors. Stay. Don't mix. Don't be with people. So you just give them the tablet. You just give them the phone, and they just stay there all the time. There's no real connection with their friends. And I think we should strive in whatever way we could to have the children keep the connection they had with their friends that they would have been in school with. So for instance, they could get a number or two from the parents of these friends so that the children could keep communication with the friends outside of the school hours. There are some instances where you may be able to invite 1 or 2 personnel over to the home that the children could have some playtime together, or we have the Zoom and everything. You could set up these things that they could still have communication, connect. This entire situation that we're now facing in is taking away that personal touch and the connect. And we need to realize that we are still our brother's keeper. We still need to care for each other. And if you just becomes somebody that is out there, just a face that I see and there's no shade, then we cannot know emotions. We cannot feel what you're feeling. We don't know how to reach out to you when you need. And the youths, the children, they need it. They need it just as we need it. And we need to be mindful of it and give them opportunities where they can really still be there connecting with their friends.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Nice. And my last question, and each of the panelists will have the opportunity to do it or to respond to it. We're going to start off with our dear Officer Onessa, then we're going to come back to Officer Ainsley, and lastly, we'll finish things off with Officer Michelle. All right? So the mantra of uniform ministry is salvation and service. How have you seen this imitated during the pandemic?
Imitated.
Okay. Good question. How has I can talk for myself. I can say for me, salvation and service has always been my mantra with Pathfindering. And for me, I can see even with my church, helping persons in the community, reaching out and reaching those persons in the community, touching their lives, providing food, providing support. So I think with Pathfindering, salvation and service really is equipping the children, not just with an understanding of who God is, but service to others. Service to others.
Right. Right. For me, how have I seen salvation and service or demonstrated? I could give a couple examples. When we started online Sabbath school lesson for our children, our junior class, we asked them how can they show Jesus in these pandemic times. So they came up with many examples. So they developed bookmarks about Jesus. Some did postcards to give out. One child went so far as to develop a Zoom Bible story time where he invited his family. He had family, not only in Tobago, but in the United States and in Guyana. And for about a month, for about an hour or so, he would show Bible stories to his family, and some of them were non-Adventists. So I thought that was a good demonstration on their part. For Sandy Hill, what we did first, Sandy River, part of Sandy Hill, they developed a shoebox project where they asked members of the club to fill a shoebox to give out to children. So they filled it with books, toys, food stuff, crayon, color pencils, whatever you want. You would fill it up nicely, decorate it, and I think it was World Adventure Day or World Youth Day. They would have given it out into the community. Subsequently to that happening, we had the earthquake in St. Vincent. So Sandy Hill came together as a group, and we would have given out food stuff, which would have taken to this here ASI, would have carried to Guyana. But a member from St. Vincent Adventist Church contacted a member here and said they were still in need, and they actually needed some clothes and so on for the young people there. So we did the same shoebox project to send some abroad, and we also collected food stuff and clothing to distribute to the St. Vincent families. And we had got a video from them saying thankful for what Sandy Hill would have done. And finally, us for Signal Hill Church, every year we should do a community project or some community outreach. And this year, a church member had a wall to be painted, and so the club members volunteered, and so we painted that wall for that church member. So those are some of the things that Sandy Hill did during our salvation and service time.
All right.
Okay. What I would have been seeing is the participation of youth on the over the internet, over the platforms that are available, sharing God. I must commend the Mount St. George Youth Society for the crusade that they would just have conducted. And when I looked at the participation nightly, the numbers trumped a lot of the programs that I was seeing, the other programs that are online. So the young persons are stepping up, and they are taking their roles and fitting into the, in terms of salvation, carrying forward the message, in spite of the fact that we are now in a different time. They are stepping up to the plate and doing their part in sending forward the message.
Wonderful. All right. So, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was looking into something else about support of the club from the leadership. I just wanted to mention that in terms of, from the Signal Hill SDA Church point of view, we are very thankful to our church members and to the leadership on a whole for their support of club ministry. We do have church members who donate directly to the club, and we're thankful for that. We do have the church board. When we request funds to do certain things, they are willing and able to assist. In fact, most of the time they will buy all the club books for the children, so they don't have to pay for that. When we had to raise funds, the church membership supported, because we were supposed to go to, well, the Adventure Club was to go to Barbados for the camporee, which was eventually cancelled, but the support the members gave to the fundraising, that we were so able to raise funds that not a child had to pay for their own ticket.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
The church, through the fundraiser and through the support, was able to pay for their own tickets. I would also like to thank the parents, because we would charge registration fees in order to help with the work of the club, and parents have been faithful in returning or in paying those registration fees. And even if they are unable to, they will let us know. And thankfully, through donations of others, we are able to meet the requirements of the club. So if it's one thing, I want to thank Signal Hill SDA Church, Signal Hill SDA Church members for the support that they have given through youth ministry. And in addition, in August, we had Youth Month, where the young people took up the services for the entire month. And it went so well that any members want the elders to sit down and to continue, right? One other thing, and how the leadership has helped, in that for the Youth Month, each elder mentored a young person. And we also had a preaching training for those young persons. So the elders assisted them. The youth wrote their own sermon. The elders assisted them in writing their own sermons, and they did their presentations. So Signal Hill SDA Church, a heartfelt thank you for the support of youth ministry.
Indeed, a wonderful thing there. And I have a question there for Officer Onessa. All right, so it was coming to me, and I really want to find out, as Officer Ainsley did mention, how has your church been able to assist, or how do you recommend your church or other churches in the area, everyone looking in here, everyone listening, how do you recommend your church involve not only the youths of the church, but involve the work of the Pathfindering avenues? How do you recommend that something like that be included in the church operations?
I think one misconception, or a big misconception, is that is involvement of the church. See, in the pastor, the uniform with leadership in part, I think those youths in that going through this kind of I am
All right, so we're having a bit of a technical difficulty there. So what we're going to do, we're going to direct that same question straight over to Officer Michel. Officer Michel, how do you recommend the church include the pathfinding efforts into its operations?
All right, Brother Alex, stop me there. The pathfinding, I will shift the answer, not directly to answer your question, but to answer it at the same time. We have to realize that the youths are quite equipped and capable of running the show. When, back in the days, when I was leadership in Master Guide in Tobago, the youths below me were in their teens, early 20s, and we were the ones, I was not yet 30, taking 50, 60, 70 children to Trinidad for fair, coming second, third, winning a lot of the activities and bringing back the children to Tobago. That was the age. We had myself and about 2, 3 others at my age, in our late 20s, early 30s, and everyone else were like early 20s, late teens, and that was a group who took and trained and carried these children to Trinidad every year for fair, provided meals, provided transportation, did everything. The youths are capable, and in my opinion, there are times when I believe that the adults believe that they have to run the show. As I said earlier, my nephew, he is 9 years old, and he is the one who I have to go to show me how to use Zoom.
Right.
I could turn it on, I could sign in and watch it, full stop. Anything else, have to call him and he will do. He runs single-handedly a Friday night family Zoom worship session. He is the one who says who does everything, and he preaches, and we have discussion and family meeting, and he is the one who organizes it. And he's quite good at it. Now he will be doing it at his age, he's just 9. And there are a lot of other youths out there who are quite capable, and it will seem to me at times that the service content is limited due to the fact that they are not personnel to run the show. But there are personnel if we allow them to do the work.
Right.
The elder doesn't have to be there every Sabbath. The adults don't have to take the show every Sabbath. They could sit back and mentor and allow the youths to run the show. And I think the kind of challenges we may be getting, that burnout and this thing, will be minimal if we just let the young persons run the show. They are quite capable of doing it.
And Officer Ainsley, I see you're nodding there while I am nodding, so I'm going to direct it over to you. Do you think that us including the youths in the running of the show, putting them in the forefront, do you think that that will allow for the youths to have a reason to say, yes, I'm going to take out my clothes tonight, I have church tomorrow, I might get called upon to do something, so I need to be ready? Do you think that that inclusivity, that bringing them in and giving them important roles in the order of the church service, do you think that will keep our youths with us?
Right, I think it goes back to salvation and service. And I think as people serve and are involved, they would more stay, right? In fact, they've done some studies in the United States looking at people who are backbenchers who just sit and just observe, as opposed to the others who got involved, and I realized that the ones who got involved were more likely to stay than those who were the backbenchers, right? And at our church, we try that. Our youth do song service, our youth preach, our youth are on the platform. They may say we're using them too much, but we've been using our youth to be part of it. And we also have to go back to the founding of our church. Our church, when it was founded, Ellen White was under 20, was 17 with her first vision. Most leaders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church at its founding were under the age of 35, right? So we have young people who are capable, and if they don't think they are capable, give them the tools so they can become capable.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
And I'm understanding here that Officer Onessa is ready. She had everything ready to speak. The internet was giving trouble, but that has been resolved. So Officer Onessa, give us your remarks on the said topic.
Okay. I was saying that what I think is only for you. And I think what would help, well, what I've seen, that misconception allow you to think when I reach a certain, I am done with pathfinding, and I think that is wrong. Even more involved from pathfinder, the uniform, elders, when the pathfinders are going to be part of the camping experience, even if it is, you may not be involved. I think these stones that remember that, my pastor was involved at a pan. He's a funny person. He's not only is on Sabbath, but I can experience, and I think that would help, see of their comfort zone if it's in the church, live in a social light, and I think that is helpful for youths.
Mentioned that, it also came to my mind and it dawned on me here, including the youths. Yes, we want to include them, but I understand there is a fear among us where we're not sure where their mind is at, and we're not sure where they may lead the church. And it made sense to me to a point. And then I recognize how in a workplace, when you have a new person come on board in a department, what is done is most times the most senior person in that department is now left to shadow the new individual, right? Ensuring that that individual knows the work around. And that person having so much experience, if this new individual does happen to make a mistake, they are well equipped with the knowledge and the know-how to basically try to save the circumstance. So it makes me wonder, and I'm going to ask the two of you all here while we figure out stuff there with Officer Onessa. Do you think that it is recommended? I know that you said in your church, Officer Ainsley, you all have persons mentoring the youths for the month that went by. Do you think that that is a standard we should apply to all churches where possible, where we have the senior members of the church? You all are the graduates of the class. You all are the doctorates in the church, where we have them work closely with the youths, whether they choose a youth between 0 and 10, and a youth from 10 to 15, one from 15 to 20, one from 25 to 20 to 30, and have these persons under their wings, because you want to make sure when it is your time to depart this earth, someone is there ready to take up the mantle. What do you two recommend here in a case like this?
Right. You said depart the earth. I answer what depart the earth. Probably depart this role.
This role, okay.
This role I'm functioning. Because sometimes you end up being in the same role for 20, 30 years because there is no one who can assume the mantle, right? And mentorship is important. So how can I put it? I could use my church. We have some young people, or this young guy very shy, right? Does not want to do anything in front of the camera, right? So what we did was kept giving him things to do. The first time he went in front of the camera not the camera, first time he went in front of church to say a memory verse, he froze. He could not complete the memory verse at all. We gave him a break and said, okay, we'll bring you back closer to divine service. He could try again, brought him back up to divine service. He froze again. Not a word came out. So next time 13th Sabbath came up, but we didn't try to beat him up. We said, okay, we give him another try. His parents worked with him. So the next time he came to do the memory verse, very shy, head down, but he completed the memory verse. Wow. And we were like, yeah! The church was like, yeah! Right? Now, 4 years later, people will say, wow, this child has come such a long way from when he now started. And that's because he was given opportunity, he was guided, and with the parents' involvement, we were able to make a step with him. And so in church, it doesn't have to be an officially structured process. It doesn't have to be something official put in place for a person. But you, as an adult in church, can see a young person, mentor them. The Bible talks about the older woman mentoring the younger females. About them. If we take that opportunity to mentor our young people, to guide them, that even though they are shy and they will make mistakes, I can show of hands of anybody here who has never made a mistake. Right. So I'm sure all of us have made mistakes. The youth will make mistakes. They are all learning. But if we take the opportunity to guide them through, then we will have strong young men and women for Jesus.
Wonderful.
Yes. I just want to touch on the point where you said spiritual and if they will lead the church awry. That's why we have Pathfinder Club. And if you are not sure what the youth will do, we need to build on Bible study, church history. And in my experience, I would have seen new believers come into church and given high leadership roles. Now, that new believer came not knowing the culture of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They are committed to Christ, and but there are things that they still need to learn. And when you place them in the leadership position, they would do to the best of their ability, which at some times is not what the church says, yes, this is so, or no, that is not so. They may even tell you something doctrinal that is not correct. Not willfully, but because they are young, they would not be able to put it forward the correct way. So Bible study and church history, church leadership, church management, these are important. But as Officer Ainsley would have said, 13 Sabbath, Youth Day, AY services, all these are training sessions for youths. So when it's time for leadership, being deaconesses, song service, being Sabbath school superintendents, preaching, these are the training grounds. What we have to be careful for is our doctrinal beliefs, right. And to ensure that when they go to the platform to present to God's people, that they are spiritually led. And but as I said before, they are quite capable of doing the job. There are some areas where they will need a little more tutoring before we give them the go-ahead on their own. But I think we are in the correct direction when it comes to that.
That's wonderful. That is indeed a really good experience there that you all would have both shared with us here. And I would say for sure, my church, I go to Lambo SDA. We also ensure to include the youths in every aspect, from even as small as welcome. So welcome tends to be the one where you could shy off, you could laugh, you could giggle. If it is you're scared, you could be timid, someone will come and help you out. And you graduate from the welcome, you get the scripture reading. Or we know for sure we always have the youths doing the song service and things like that. So we make sure that you are included not only for youth day, for 13 Sabbath and stuff like that, but you make sure that the youths know, okay, you come into church this week, we have them in the rosters. You have the roster for the whole month of August, the whole month of September, and you see, okay, this youth will be doing this on this day, and they now feel a sense of importance. They no longer coming to church and maybe someone will call me up. I know that, okay, on Sabbath we know that I have to fulfill this duty in church. So I am more energized and prepared and structured. And I hope that everyone would have been able to learn a lot from this afternoon session with our panelists here. I indeed know that I need to contact Sandy Hill. I need to complete several honors. I'm waiting for that turtle honor especially. And I need to include the youths in our church a lot more, bringing them the opportunity to liaise with the seniors in the church, the ones with the most experience, and let them impart knowledge upon our youth so that they could then step forward and make a better society among us. All right, so as we move forward and we end off this afternoon's panel discussion, we need to remember that pathfindering during a pandemic is definitely possible. Thank you.
A pleasant afternoon to all viewers. I also say, I will go. The scripture reading, Isaiah 6:8. The year of King Uzziah's death. I saw the exalted and sublime Lord sitting on a throne. The orlast of his cloak filled the temple. The topic of this short discourse, start well, finish better. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Please watch over us as we go through this sermon and help everyone out there to gather something from it and for it to bring new members to you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Many things can die in our lives in a surprising way, such as dreams, friendships, jobs, studies, courtships, marriages, among others. These often die without warning and without us being prepared for those deaths, immediately generating deep crises that can threaten our peace of mind and our emotional state. However, Pathfinders, we all wish to say, I will go. I will triumph. But the question is, how will we do it? Let us study two characters, Uzziah and Isaiah, who gives us tremendous example, one of them negative and the other positive. Of course, the negative example is one we should never imitate. King Uzziah's life is recounted in 2 Chronicles 26, 3-5. In summary, it states, Uzziah was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 52 years. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. He sought God during the days of Zechariah, who instructed him in the fear of God. As long as he sought the Lord, God gave him success. The entire nation enjoyed the benefit of king's success, living years of peace and material prosperity. His fame spread far and wide, for he was greatly helped until he became powerful. King Uzziah's resume is impressive, Pathfinders. He did the right thing before the eyes of God. He sought God with all his heart. He fought with the Philistines and defeated them. His fame and power spread to many places. He built towers in the desert. He had an army of extraordinary warriors. He prepared weaponry for his entire army. Uzziah reigned for 52 years, and his government had economic stability, peace and jobs for all children, adolescents, youths, and adults. Slept peacefully, and possibly some of them forgot the blessings they received did not come from Uzziah, but from God. Yet, we are never to forget that everything we had, currently have, and will have come from God's grace and mercy. 14-year-old Todd, a young and devoted Christian, had many dreams and goals. He loved hiking, mountaineering, and water sports. Todd loved his family and the church. He knew that the blessings of his life came from God, just like King Uzziah did. But suddenly, Todd suffered an accident while water skiing and lost one of his legs. Pathfinders, we can't possibly imagine what this was like unless we have experienced something similar. There is nothing more devastating than when misfortune comes into your life and robs all hopes and dreams. Todd had to make one of two decisions for the rest of his life. He would continue to trust and recognize God as control. He loves us, and that although we do not understand, we trust that he will fight our battles for us. Or go crazy and abandon his trust and closeness with God. Let us go back to Uzziah. What happened to this king? His tragic end appears in 2 Chronicles 16:21. But after Uzziah became powerful, his pride led to his downfall. He was unfaithful to the Lord, his God, and entered the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense. Isaiah, Azariah the priest, with 80 other courageous priests of the Lord, followed him in. They confronted King Uzziah and said, "It is not right for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord. That is for the priests, the descendants of Aaron, who have been consecrated to burn incense. Leave the sanctuary, for you have been unfaithful, and you will not be honored by the Lord." Uzziah, who had censer in his hand, ready to burn incense, became angry. While he was raging at the priests, in their presence before the incense altar in the Lord's temple, leprosy broke out on his forehead. When Azariah, the chief priest, and all the other priests looked at him, they saw that he had leprosy on his forehead. So they hurried him out. Indeed, he himself was eager to leave, because the Lord had afflicted him. King Uzziah had leprosy until the day he died. His downfall can be summed up in a single sentence. He rebelled against the Lord. Pathfinders, success is impossible if the Lord is not with us. The saddest thing of all is that he showed no remorse for what he did. None of the inhabitants of Judah under 55 knew a life without King Uzziah. But these happy years of normalcy were over. King Uzziah sinned, was punished with leprosy, and then died. His death was the beginning of a period of uncertainty and fear. What would happen now? Who would lead the nation? Who would the enemies invade? These are some possible questions that would come out of the lips of the inhabitants of Judah. This was a year of national crisis, and this year of crisis, Uzziah died. The Lord God decided to call, cleanse, and send the prophet Isaiah on a great mission. Like Judah, all normal days were affected in December 2019. In the city of Wuhan, in this People's Republic of China, were cases of a group of sick people with an unknown type of pneumonia. The World Health Organization recognized it as a pandemic on March 11, 2020. After these events, we have seen global crisis that has brought pain, despair, anguish, panic, anxiety, depression, and death. Are the questions of the people of Judah asked not similar to ours in the midst of this pandemic? What will happen to the pandemic? Will the vaccine be the solution? What will happen to my family? Many questions and few human answers. It is one thing for us to experience a crisis that arrives in our lives and quite another for us to generate it as Uzziah did when he entered the temple of God. Let us look at Isaiah's example. The contrast between Uzziah and the prophet Isaiah is tremendous. What does Isaiah do amid the crisis? Isaiah could have arranged a delegation to visit neighboring countries to sign peace agreements. These could have been ongoing conversations with the men of military powers. He could have tried to create his own political or religious party. In the first verse, we do not find Isaiah in the palace, nor in the chamber. We find Isaiah in the temple. In times of crisis, he sought the Lord. The Lord is glad to see him there and rewards him with a very important vision. God knew exactly what Isaiah needed. Dear Pathfinders, Isaiah needed an encounter with God. In times of crisis, we need to seek the Lord as Isaiah did. Before crisis hits, we say with joy that our future is in God's hands. But when crisis hits us, when our savings are stolen, when we lose our jobs, when our health fails, our future does not look so secure. Maybe it is easier to trust the Lord when we feel strong, secure, and in control of things. For the Lord, it was important for Isaiah to feel his own smallness, and God showed him his greatness. It was important to the Lord that Isaiah felt his sin, for which God showed him his holiness. The crisis we got through is also an invitation to draw to the Lord. Before we go out for the Lord, like Isaiah, we must meet him and receive his powers. Then we can say, I will go. Even if the heavens fall, I will go, because I love you, Lord. The Lord never asked Isaiah, what do you want to do? The Lord gave him instructions to go. What was the difference between Uzziah and Isaiah? The results of the entrance to the temple in both cases were very different. Uzziah entered and left with leprosy. Isaiah instead entered the temple and came out purified. Let me finish the story of Todd. Yes, an accident of such magnitude would have killed anyone's aspiration, but not Todd. Several years after the accident, he graduated as a psychotherapist and became the clinical director of a support center for people with physical limitations. Todd never gave up on the mountaineering, despite his disability, to demonstrate that trusting God will power can overcome the greatest challenges. He climbed the highest peaks in each of the 50 states in USA in less than 100 days. As a matter of fact, he did it in 66 days, with only one leg. The previous record was 101 days. In his book, On the Edge of the Impossible, Todd Houston recounts the greatest challenge he faced as he ascended McKinley Peak in Alaska, 7,000 feet high. When others gave up because of snowstorm and reached the peak, through faith in God and in the capacity he has given us, we can overcome any challenges that life presents us with, states Todd. Take note, Pathfinders, that in a crisis can be what God will use to motivate a serious change in your life. Todd Houston's life changed. Isaiah's life changed. They were never the same person again. They triumphed because they sought the Lord. Only God can give us the victory forever. Tell him today, dear Pathfinders, Lord, I will go. How many wish to have a real encounter with God and be prepared to say, as Isaiah, here I am, send me. We will now pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I hope that everyone gathered pieces of information that they needed from this short sermon today, God. Please bless everyone and help everyone to be as Isaiah and not Uzziah. Thank you for everything you have done for us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
As we close this afternoon's program, we would like to thank ASI for hosting us and you for giving us a listening ear. And thank you to the Youth Director, Sister Annette of Tobago Mission of SDA, and to the Pathfinder Coordinator. And I urge you this day to go with God, and may God continue to bless you each and every day. Thank you.